Hello, my name is Michael Palermo. I'm the Microsoft Regional Director in Phoenix, Arizona, and I need to share with you something that they're trying to make a secret. They don't want you to know about this, but in the new IDE for Visual Studio.NET 2005, we have code snippets. But before I even show them to you, we need to understand what's the problem. There's repetitive code that developers constantly do. Now, yeah, they could copy and paste all day long, but then they're going to have to go back in there and make all sorts of changes to their code because their code needs are special. They can't just copy and paste. They're going to copy and paste, and then they're going to change something, and who knows if they do a spelling error. Who knows what they're going to do? So they don't resolve to just doing copy and paste. So they do manual labor. That's right, manual labor. You know what? If you find yourself in that zone, you may end up feeling like this. Manual code can make you feel like this. Manual code may, in fact, cause family problems. You may even lose your job. Because if you do all sorts of manual code, you're probably error-prone, you're taking too long, your boss hates you. We can't stand this. So what are we going to do? Well, I'd like to make an offer to you. I got a $20 bill right here. See that 20? Would you like to trade this $20 bill for a $1 bill? Would you do that? How about them apples? That sounds good? If you're willing to do that, guess what? Look at this. More for less. That's what code snippets are all about. More for less. We're going to touch on that a little bit later. Let's get to a demo of this right away. How do we get started with code snippets? You go straight to the new code editor. I put in a couple comments in here that say, here's things I want to do. I need an enumeration real fast. Let's say you have clumsy fingers. You know what? If I need an enum, all I'm going to type is E-N-U-M. Look at that. Intellisense pops up. I can hit tab, tab again, and this is an example of a code snippet. And say, hey, I'll fill in some of the blanks. You just give me the name of the enum. So I'll say sayings. That's my enum. I hit enter, puts the cursor right where I want it. And I say, hey, cool. You know, groovy. Awesome. And, what's up? So this is an example of doing an enum. But you know what? It's not just about that. That was a really simple one. That's a pre-existing enum or a pre-existing code snippet. What if I want to use an interface? But make sure you use good naming. Watch this. Oh, there's an interface snippet. So I'm going to hit tab, tab again. And notice it now includes the I right before, so it's enforcing some good naming guidelines. So I'm going to say, my interface. Whoa. So I hit enter, and now, of course, it's ready for me to go. I could do a void foo, whatever the case is. Now I want to go down, and I need a class. So once again, class, very intuitive, tab, tab, and now it's going to say, what's your class name? Yo. This is a class. So I would bring this code editor down. Bring this up here. I want you to see something. Those were some very, very simple code snippets, but we could do a lot more. Watch this. You ever need a static void main? How about SVM tab, tab? There you go. Instant snippet for your static void main. How about a property? Go in here and I go property, tab, tab, and now the code snippet's even better because it provides me a type. I can say, well, I need a string, and maybe the tab over to this one and say underscore last name, tab again, and then this one's last name. When I hit enter, puts the cursor right under that last code block. That's awesome. It took care of all of that stuff, instantly knew what I needed, and all I had to do was tab to the various properties. Here's what's more. How about this? A switch statement. Have you ever done a switch on an enumeration? Watch this. Tab, tab. Now I just created an enumeration called sayings. So I'm going to put sayings in there, tab, enter. How about them apples? Automatically looks at all of my enums, and I have this very cool, groovy, awesome snippet working for me. But let's say you look down at those properties again, and you're like, you know what? I kind of like what they did here, but I wish I could do my properties differently. You know, that was nice, but I automatically wanted that underscore underneath the property name. Well, one of the beautiful things about snippets is that you can create your own. This is an example of an XML document, which in itself is a snippet. And I wanted to redefine what it means to have a property. So I scroll down, and here's the heads up on this. When you look at it, you can give your snippet a name, and then these literal elements inside of the XML document start representing those little placeholders we saw where we can fill in our own data. So I'm saying, well, I'm going to need a type, and I'm going to need a property name. And then I can add tooltip information and default values. Those literals end up being enclosed in these little dollar signs. And by doing that, it represents really a placeholder where you want it to go in your code. Because down here is really where the code snippet lives. So I have these dollar sign types, dollar sign properties. Notice in my example, I automatically wanted to have the underscore there. And then I don't have the underscore there where I actually declare the property. I also do some other things, like in our organization, we need to have comments at the end of the code blocks. We need to have comments at the end of the property. And with my dollar signs down here, I can even say $n means this is where I want the cursor location to actually end up. So notice that you can even provide your own shortcut for your code snippets. Prop for me. So I want to use this right now. So I'll go over here in my code. I'm like, I want to use my new custom prop for me. So I hit enter and I go prop. I don't see it. What's the matter? The problem is snippets are like employees. If you don't manage them, you never know where they're going to go. So I need to go over to Tools, Code Snippets Manager. And what I'd like to do is now import that snippet into the manager. So I'll find my snippet. There it is, the prop for me. Open it up. I'm going to say it's part of my Visual C# snippet library and hit finish. See, now I've managed my snippet. It's like an employee. I come back down here and I do PRO. There it is. Tab, tab. I could say, you know what, I'll make this a string again. And change my property to cool. Hit enter. And now you can see it entered all of my comments, followed my standards and my coding guidelines. Real easy to implement these custom code snippets. So what's the story? Here's the summary. Snippets will save you time. They will enforce all your little special rules that your project manager gives to you, and also reduces human error. You're not always trying to copy and paste and replace. But here's the other thing. You need to feel the love. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you implement code snippets, you'll probably make it home in time. Your family and friends will love you because you got so much done. You're going to be the miracle worker at the office. And you're going to feel good because you were able to get more code for less. You can do that if you use code snippets in Visual Studio .NET 2005.